What is time? It seems like such a simple question, right? We measure it, we manage it, we race against it. But if you stop and really think about it, what asterisk is asterisk it? This question has stumped thinkers for centuries, from ancient philosophers to modern physicists. Today, we're going to dive deep into this mystery, starting with a brilliant mind from the 4th century, St. Augustine, and see how his ancient insights surprisingly echo in the labs of today's most advanced scientists. Augustine, in his famous work, Confessions, grappled with this exact problem. He wrote, "What then is time? If no one asks me, I know. If I wish to explain it to one that asks, I know not." Isn't that relatable? He realized that time is slippery. We can't hold it or see it. It's not a physical object. So where does it exist? Augustine's revolutionary idea was that time isn't out there in the world, independent of us. Instead, he proposed that time exists within the human mind. He broke it down like this: the past, the present, and the future aren't separate, existing realities. The past is only our memory of things that have happened. The future is only our expectation of things to come. And the present? Well, that's the tricky one. Augustine saw the present as a fleeting moment of attention, a razor's edge between memory and expectation. Think about it. When you listen to a song, you're not just hearing the single note being played right now. Your mind holds the notes that just played in memory and anticipates the notes that are coming next. The entire experience of the melody happens in your consciousness. For Augustine, time is a distension of the soul, a stretching out of the mind to encompass memory and anticipation, all focused through the lens of present attention. So, according to Augustine, time is fundamentally subjective. It's a psychological phenomenon. Without a mind to perceive it, to remember, and to anticipate, the concept of time of past, present, and future simply dissolves. This was a radical departure from the common view of time as a constant, universal river flowing on its own. It placed human consciousness at the very center of the experience of time. It's a powerful idea, suggesting that our inner world is what gives structure and meaning to the flow of events. But you might be thinking, that's philosophy. What does science have to say? Well, get ready for a surprise, because modern physics has some strangely similar things to say. Let's jump forward about 1,500 years to the early 20th century, and to another brilliant mind, Albert Einstein. With his theory of relativity, Einstein completely revolutionized our understanding of space and time. Before Einstein, scientists, following Isaac Newton, thought of time as absolute. A second was a second, everywhere in the universe, for everyone. Time was like a universal clock, ticking away at the same rate for all observers, completely independent of them. But Einstein showed this wasn't true. His special theory of relativity revealed that time is, well, relative. The rate at which time passes depends on your motion. The faster you move through space, the slower time passes for you compared to someone who is stationary. This isn't just a theory. It's been proven with incredibly precise atomic clocks on jets and satellites. Time literally slows down for a moving clock. This phenomenon, called time dilation, shattered the idea of a single, universal now. If two people are moving relative to each other, their presence are not the same. What is happening now for me might be in the future, or the past for someone flying by in a spaceship. This leads to the block universe model. In this view, all of time past, present, and future exists simultaneously, just like all of space exists. Imagine a loaf of bread. Every slice of the loaf is a different moment in time. The past, present, and future are all equally real, just different slices of this four-dimensional space-time block. Our sense of time flowing from past to future is just our consciousness moving through these pre-existing slices. Doesn't that sound a bit familiar? While the mechanism is different physics versus psychology, both Augustine and Einstein challenged the idea of a simple, objective flow of time. Augustine located time in the mind's perception, while Einstein embedded it into the fabric of the universe, making its passage dependent on the observer. In both views, the subjective experience of a universal now is an illusion. For Augustine, the present is a mental focus. For Einstein, the present is just a relative slice in a static block. The common thread is that our human perception of time's flow might not be a fundamental feature of reality itself. But let's push this even further. Let's look at the world of quantum mechanics, the physics of the very, very small. Here, things get even weirder. In the quantum world, time is a bit of a problem. The fundamental equations of quantum mechanics, like the Schrödinger equation, don't really have a preference for a direction in time. They work just as well forwards as they do backwards. So why do we only experience time moving forward? Why do we remember the past, but not the future? This is known as the arrow of time. One of the leading explanations for this arrow of time is the concept of entropy, which is a measure of disorder. The second law of thermodynamics states that the total entropy of an isolated system can only increase over time. Think of an egg. It's easy to break an egg and make a messy scramble, increasing its disorder or entropy. It's practically impossible for the scrambled egg to spontaneously reassemble itself back into a perfect, unbroken egg. Our universe started in a very low entropy, highly ordered state at the Big Bang, and it has been moving towards a state of higher entropy ever since. So, the forward direction of time that we experience is simply the direction of increasing entropy. The past is the low entropy state we came from, and the future is the higher entropy state we're heading towards. This provides a physical basis for the arrow of time, but it also raises a fascinating philosophical question. Does this mean time itself is just a consequence of thermodynamics? Is our perception of a flowing now just a byproduct of the universe's inevitable slide into disorder? Here's where it gets really interesting when we bring Augustine back into the picture. Augustine said time is a distension of the soul, created by memory and expectation. Could our psychological arrow of time be linked to the thermodynamic arrow of time? Our brains are physical systems that consume energy and increase entropy. The very act of forming a memory is a physical process that increases the overall disorder of the universe. So, our ability to remember the past, but not the future, might be fundamentally tied to the second law of thermodynamics. Our minds, in a way, surf the wave of increasing entropy. The past is what we can hold in memory-recorded states, and the future is the vast space of unrecorded potential states. This brings us to a mind-bending synthesis. Perhaps St. Augustine's psychological time and the physical time of modern physics are two different things, but two sides of the same coin. Augustine's insight was that our experience of time is constructed in our minds. Modern physics suggests that the direction of this construction is dictated by the fundamental laws of the universe, like entropy. The flow we perceive, the feeling of now moving forward, could be the subjective experience of our own consciousness being carried along the universe's thermodynamic current. So, what is time? The question remains as profound as ever. It's not just a clock on the wall. It's a psychological construct, as Augustine argued. It's a relative dimension, woven into the fabric of spacetime, as Einstein showed. And its direction might be governed by the unstoppable increase of disorder in the universe. The incredible thing is how a 4th century philosopher, using only introspection and logic, arrived at conclusions that resonate so deeply with the discoveries of 21st century science. He realized that to understand time, you have to understand the mind that perceives it. And modern physics, in its own way, is coming to a similar conclusion. The observer is not separate from the observed. Our experience of reality, including time itself, is a deep and intimate dance between our consciousness and the cosmos. The mystery of time is far from solved. But by looking back at the wisdom of thinkers like Augustine and connecting it to the frontiers of science, we get a richer, more awe-inspiring picture. Time isn't just something that happens to us. It's something we participate in, something our minds help create, moment by fleeting moment. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through time. If you enjoyed this exploration, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. What are your thoughts on time? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.